There we go. Okay, so still try to stand a little bit taller first. So once again, we want the head slightly back, shoulders maybe a little back, maybe suck our stomach in slightly, okay, so that everything is stacked on top of each other. Okay, but we still want to be able to take a breath in, into our diaphragm, which is around the belly area. Okay, and breathe out. Okay, and keep everything relaxed at the same time. Okay, so let's start still move our joints. So we're gonna tuck our chin in, okay, and then going back up. Okay, and we're just gonna go down the spine, so kind of round our shoulders a little bit. Okay, and then breathing in to the opposite, pulling our shoulders back, knocking them slightly. Okay, and we're gonna continue kind of gently going down. You might kind of just dangle your arms, breathing out. Okay, and then breathing in. Okay, even try to lean back a little bit up, bring your heart up to the ceiling. Okay, and just repeat maybe a couple of times. If anything is in pain, kind of avoid those areas. Don't go too far. If you have any kind of spine problems or even osteoporosis. Okay, and let's go side to side. So we're going to look and kind of reach. Okay, and then once again, opening up. Okay, so start off smaller motion first. So kind of breathing out as you reach in. Okay, breathing in as you kind of reach out. Okay, and let's involve our legs a little bit as well. So as you reach your limit, try to move your feet so that they point towards where you're going. Okay, so and then go the other way. Okay, let's do one more time on this side, breathing out. Okay, and breathing in. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the side. So maybe start the neck first a little bit. Okay, and then go the other way. Okay, and that, and the person in. Okay, and then start to involve the shoulders. Look where you're going to go, and your body will follow. Okay, try to move your hips as well. Turn your knees a little bit in. Okay, and out. Okay, and finally, move your entire body. So point your toes towards where you're going. Okay, and let's do a little bit side bending. So let's try to lean our head on one side first. Okay, and let's kind of move our shoulders up and down a few times, focusing on pulling downwards, feeling a little bit of stretch at the side of the neck. Okay, and come back to center, pause for a second. When you're ready, go towards the other side, same idea. Try to reach towards the floor, feel a little bit of stretch on the top of the shoulders. Okay, and once again, pause in the middle for a second. Okay, let's do bend the entire spine. So we're going to kind of reach up and kind of breathe in. Okay, and come back down. Okay, and also shift your weight a little bit. So as you come back down, shift your weight towards one leg. Okay, and then as you reach the other way, shift your weight onto this side. Okay, so kind of just repeat a couple of times. You can match your breathing. So kind of breathe in as you reach up, breathe out as you come back down. Okay, and let's involve the legs a little bit as well. So as you come back down, maybe squat down slightly, just bend your knees a little bit, and then come back up. So kind of just squat down slightly, put a little bit more weight on that one leg. Okay, and we're going to push the butt back a little bit so that you're not just kind of loading or pressuring your knees. And if you feel like it, you can go down a little bit lower, but up to you and how you feel. Okay, and same thing on the other side. So smaller motion first. Okay, gently see if you can reach a little bit higher. You can also do a little bit opposite way. Try to bring your elbow a little bit closer to your ribs. Okay, and also start to shift your weight side to side a little bit. Okay, and finally try to shift down a little bit. Okay, once again, push the butt back. Don't have to bend the knees too much. Okay, and one last time. Okay, and let's move the shoulders front to back. Okay, and let's also add a step to it. So what we're going to do is going to have your hands forward. You're going to take a step out along with your hands. So we're going to open up. Okay, all the way. So turn your hips. Let's try to still open the shoulders. Okay, so entire body opens up. Okay, as you come back, you can also kind of squat down a little bit or soften your knees. Okay, and let's move the elbows a little bit front to back. Okay, see if you can point your fingers back, open up the palm. Okay, slowly see if you can also reach kind of behind the neck, behind the shoulders. Okay, so try to point your elbows up a little higher. Try to bring your arms back a little bit higher as well. Okay, and then just shake the elbow, the wrist out. Okay, fingers together. Kind of pull your fingers a little bit apart. Okay, and just draw kind of an elongated wrist circle. Okay, and then just move all your fingers as well. Okay, on to the hips. Okay, so let's do hip circles. So we're going to lift your leg up and then out. Okay, and if you want, use a chair for balance. Okay, but I'm just going to bring your knees out, so up and out in a circle, or half circle, I guess. Okay, if you have any hip issues, just draw a smaller circle. Okay, and then opposite, try to push the leg back and then step over something. Okay, when you keep this leg up, shake your, kind of sweep your leg back and forth a little bit. Okay, kind of swing it front to back a few times. Okay, and also go through the ankle as well. Okay, and let's repeat on the other leg. Okay, so up and out. Okay, small circle first once again. When you feel ready, you can try to see if you can go into a slightly bigger circle. But once again, if it causes you any discomfort, just make it a little smaller, avoid those painful areas, if there's any. Okay, opposite, reach back, and then up in a across box or imaginary box. Okay, keep your leg up, sweep it side to side a few times. Okay, front to back a few times. Go through the ankles, both directions. And then a little bit of the toes again, so scratch the floor, lift it up, stretch them out. You can do them along with your fingers. Okay, you can try to lift your toes, just your big toe up. Okay, and then try to keep your big toe down and just lift the other toes. Okay, and shake everything out. So let's go into the aerobic part. So once again, the goal is just to keep moving for kind of 10 minutes at a time. Okay, so let's start off just simple again, just marching. Any points if you don't feel comfortable doing a motion, still try to keep moving so you can always go back to this marching motion. So just slowly at the start, but try to increase your pace as you go along. Okay, so let's add the step again. So same thing in the warm-up. You're going to march, take a step out, and come back, and repeat on the other side, opening out the hands as well. So march, okay, step, okay, back to marching, okay, and then step towards the other side, back to marching. Okay, so let's repeat a couple of times. That's just whenever you want to. Okay, but see, you can increase the pace in between. Okay, and then opening up. Okay, and then other way. Okay, so today, let's do slightly differently. So we've been doing a lot of kind of marching type stuff. So let's go into something slightly different. Okay, so when it goes into almost like a squatting series, so you're going to a hinge series, so you can actually reach back, push the butt back, and up. Okay, so you don't have to squat down too low or go back too much. Okay, but the idea is that you're kind of pushing your butt back, reaching back, and then moving your arms upwards. Okay, so it is kind of a full body movement. If you get, if you need the discomfort, just kind of bend your knees a little bit. So you don't have to go down all the way. You can if you want to, but just slightly. And then I'd rather you go maybe a little bit faster, which would also get your heart rate up. Okay, so we don't want to push too much pressure in your knees for this. Okay, but we want your heart to be working a little bit faster. Okay, so let's try to change up a little bit. Let's try to reach back and up. So kind of kick one leg back and up. So it's kind of still this motion, but you're putting one leg back and then come back to center. So you can even do a small one. You can just reach back one hand if you want to. Okay, but let's also try to alternate between the two legs. So you can do a couple of times, one leg going back, okay, and then switch to the other side. Okay, but the arm is roughly the same motion, just going back and then up. Okay, so let's try to alternate between the two. If your shoulders get tired, just go a little bit smaller range, maybe just towards the shoulders. Okay, instead of going backwards, we're gonna go a little bit to the side next. Okay, so still same type, okay, but you're going to kick out to the side a little bit and then come back up. Okay, so you can even, this might be more intuitive, but you can put your hands together, come down, come up, come down, come up. Okay, in the same direction as your legs. Okay, let's pause for a second, and instead we're going to move our hands quickly, kind of side to side a little bit. You're going to feel your core muscles engaging a little bit harder. Okay, and let's try to even move our feet a little bit as well. So that might look a little strange, might feel a little strange, but let's give it a try anyway. Okay, and we're just back to bigger motion, but still back and forth. Okay, so instead of just side to side, let's actually still side to side, but let's try to increase the range on one side. Okay, so you can go from maybe just around your ribs, okay, and try to reach out a little bit further on one side. Okay, try to repeat for 3 more times. 2, 1. Okay, and just back to side to side. Okay, we're gonna go to let's do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So we're gonna go from small motion, big motion. Okay, let's repeat for about maybe 15 times or so. Okay, so I think we have about maybe 10 more, I mean. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's try to do a circle next. So we're just going to go, you can start small circle, okay, still feel your weight shifting side to side. Okay, and let's try to squat down and then come back up. Okay, once again, don't go down too low, just push it back a little bit and then come back up. Okay, if you want, you can try to move your hands a little bit quicker. Okay, but do what you're comfortable with. Okay, let's change direction. So 1, okay, let's do about 5 squats. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and let's shake it up, and we'll go back to marching for a second, just to give our shoulders a little bit more of a rest. Okay, let's check the time. We've done about 5 minutes. So once again, aerobic doesn't always have to look like marching. Anything that kind of moves your arms and your legs together at the same time, kind of continuously, will get your heart rate up a little bit faster. Okay, so next one, we're going to almost go into the jumping jacks type stuff. So you're going to bring your arms kind of up and down. Okay, so let's try to continue with the legs for a second. Okay, let's try just the arm or just one side. Okay, and same thing on the other side. Okay, so let's engage your legs together as well. So we're gonna kick one leg out and then bring the arms together again. Okay, so let's do about 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so let's, instead of kicking side, let's kick backwards. 1, let's also do 10 seconds, 2, 3, And once again, don't lift the hands too high. Just a little bit is fine. The idea is to move quickly for longer. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's try to lift our knees up. So kind of do the same thing, but lifting our knees up. Also doing for about 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's give the shoulders a rest, relaxing for a second. Okay, so whenever you're tired, just kind of pause, check it out. You can slow down the pace. Let's try to keep going if you can. Okay, let's do a little more of the legs. So let's still go back to stepping side to side a little bit more. Okay, so let's try side to side stepping. Okay, let's add the hands. So then reach. So let's actually just reach on the same side. So we can don't have to rotate as much. Okay, and let's reach across. Okay, so not opening the legs as much. Okay, just reach across. Okay, you want to go kind of smaller motion, but a little bit faster. Okay, smaller motion again, a little bit faster. As fast as we can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and deep breath in and out. Almost there. We have less than 2 minutes. We're almost there. Okay, and let's go back to the squatting motion, focusing a little bit more, maybe on the legs this time. Okay, so we'll still go through this kind of squatting back or hinging back. So if your arms are tight, just bend the elbows and then come back. Okay, but this time, instead of just going back and forth, as we stand up, we're going to lift one knee up. So we're going to squat there, lift one knee, squat there, lift one knee. Okay, once again, you don't have to squat down too low. The idea is just to keep moving and engage more muscles at the same time. So in the front, just reach back slightly, come up, I'll kick the knee up. Okay, let's do 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, continue back to this kind of, you can call it jumping pattern almost, squatting pattern. Okay, so this time, instead of lifting the knees up, we're going to kick the leg out towards the side. Okay, so in the front, you're just going to stand up and kick the leg out. Once again, it doesn't have to be too high. We just want to keep moving. Okay, and if shoulders is fine, you can still continue throwing up a little high if you want to. Okay, but let's do about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so we're done 10 minutes. So let's gradually slow down. Okay, slow down even more. So a little bit harder today. So maybe let's take just maybe a little bit of a break, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Just keep walking. If you still feel your breathing is a little faster, remember to drink some water. In the meantime, you can grab your bands or any sort of weights that you want to use. So just keep walking while we get ready for the next part. So while we're resting, just going to explain the next part. So we are going to the muscle strengthening one. So today we're still going to do one upper body, one lower body. We're going to add one kind of a full body thing, kind of similar to what we did actually during the aerobic part, but with add a weight. So remember that when we're doing, even though it might look similar, so this type of motion, you can do this as an aerobic exercise because it gets your heart rate faster. But if you're holding a heavy weight, this suddenly becomes more of a strength focused exercise because it's pushing muscles a little bit harder. And if you do both together, so if you lift heavy weight and do it fast enough, it suddenly becomes both an aerobic exercise and a strength training exercise. So kind of these changes in these things can change how an exercise affects our body. Okay, so we work a little harder, so let's get started with the upper body, but seated first, so we have a little bit more of a break. So work on the back part of our shoulders a little bit more. So we did a lot of the front stuff today, so let's work a little bit more in the back for this one. So this one, very common exercise, but it works on the muscles that kind of protects the shoulders. So you want to hold a weight. So sit maybe a little bit closer. Just tuck your elbows in, bend will be roughly kind of armpit width apart first, and your goal is to just yank the band apart, but without your elbows leaving your body. So there's imagine there's a gold nugget in your armpit. If you do this, you're gonna drop it. Okay, so keep it tight and it's yours. So tuck the elbows in, okay, and your goal is just try to get your hands a little further apart and then coming back in. So let's do about, once again, aiming for 10 to 15 times. So it should feel a little bit challenging, but not to the point where you have to like bear down to do it. Okay, so let's call this number 3, 4. Okay, remember you want to breathe out in the hard parts of the movement. So pulling apart is a hard part, so you can kind of breathe out, breathe out. Okay, breathe in, breathe in. Let's call this number 6. 7, 8, 9. Okay, pay attention to how your muscles feel right now. Okay, that little bit of soreness could be the kind of the lactic acid building up. So we do want a little bit of that to kind of stimulate muscle growth. Okay, so I think we're somewhere around 14. And for me, I can at most do maybe 3 to 5 more times. So I'm going to stop there. Okay, so kind of shake it back out. And that's the upper body one. For the lower body, we are going to work on the quad muscle, so the big muscle in the front of the thighs. So for this one, it takes a little bit of a setup. But let's tie, what we're going to do is I'm going to tie a loop around our ankles. So does this color show well? Maybe let me grab my green band so maybe it will show a little bit better on camera. Okay, so hopefully that's more clear. Green and black, I guess that should be okay. That's like a highlighter color. Okay, so not all the way tight, so maybe still maybe roughly 2 fists worth distance apart. And what we're going to do is that we're going to have what kind of take one loop, you're going to give it a little bit of a twist, and then hook it onto your feet, so kind of will stay in place. So let me see, maybe it should get a little closer. Maybe hopefully that's clear. Okay, so just to demonstrate again, you're going to just pull the front of the band out, give it a twist, and then just hook it on your close to your toes, I guess. But the X is just to keep the band from sliding up your leg. Okay, so maybe let's go a little bit of an angle. So what we're gonna do is gonna have 1 foot forward, 1 foot slightly back. You can sit as kind of further back actually. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna keep one leg on the floor, and the band of the kind of loop across, or the X is gonna kick up. So you are pulling the band upwards. And you should feel the muscle on the front of the thigh, on top of the thighs, tightening up. If you want to make it easier, just bring the other foot slightly more forward. That'll make it easier. If you want to make it harder, bring the other leg maybe slightly further back. So we're still going to aim for being able to do about 10 to 15 times. and we're gonna alternate to the other leg afterwards. Okay, so 1, 2, maybe pause a little bit at the top, 3. If you have an ankle weight, you just tie it on. So if you have ankle weight, that makes it much more easier. If you have a band, then we have to do it this way. Okay, so let's call that number 5. 6, so hold on at the top a little bit to make our muscles work a little longer. We call that tension under time. And the idea that's also build up the lactic acid in the muscle, because as your muscle contract, it kind of restricts kind of blood flow, and how blood flow is how we get rid of the lactic acid. So we squeeze the muscles for longer, more lactic acid kind of build up inside that muscle, and we don't want like extreme amounts of lactic acid, but just we want a little bit of that to stimulate muscle growth. Okay, so I have no idea what number we're at, but let's call this number 10, 11, 12, but we do want that little bit of a sore feeling going on so that we are stimulating muscle growth through a little bit of lactic acid buildup. Okay, and let's call that 15. Okay, and we're gonna switch to the outer leg. So once again, bring the end of the loop out, give it a twist, hook it onto the leg, or it's close to the toes, just so it doesn't ride up. If you do it without the crossing, you probably find that the band kind of comes up onto your ankles. Okay, so whenever you're ready, same idea on the other side. Oh, my bands. It works a little better if your shoes on. So 1, 2. And once again, pause a little bit at the top, kind of consciously squeeze this muscle. You can even kind of tap your muscle. That will help to engage that part. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and we can unhook ourselves. Okay, gotta shake it out. That can also get blood flow going through. That helps to clear the lactic acid a little bit. If you please stand up for the next part. Okay, so the next one, kind of a whole body thing, so a combination of upper and lower body. For this one, it would work better if you have something to hook the band onto. So if you have something like a railing or heavy chain to hook it onto, you can, this isn't show up for on camera. Let's switch to maybe this one. Looks a little better. Yeah. Hopefully it is. So you can hook it like this. If you don't have something to hold onto, you can just hold the band in front like this. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to be doing a squat, and at the top we're going to pull the band apart like this. You can have your arms a little straighter, just pull it apart a little bit, and then come back, squat down. So if you have holding onto here, it becomes like more of a roll. Okay, so just to demonstrate first, you can have a chair behind. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to squat down. Okay, and as you come up, you're going to either roll the band, so pulling it behind, or pull it apart like this. So we're still doing a pulling movement. So if you don't have something to hook onto, pull it apart like this. If you have this, you're going to pull it backwards. Okay, so let's do about 10 to 15 times. Okay, so remember to stick your bum out, bend your knees a little bit. And as you come up, you're going to pull your elbows back. So 1. Okay, so try to breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and adjust how deep your squat is. So this is easier, this is harder. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you could be getting tired by now, so you don't necessarily have to do 15 times or whatever number you were doing for the other exercises. So just stop when you feel like you can at most do maybe 3 to 5 more times. Okay, and shake everything out. So full body stuff, you probably need to rest maybe a little longer. You might feel your breathing a little faster again, kind of similar to what the aerobic stuff where we have to move everything. Your heart has to work a little harder. That's why breathing gets a little bit faster as well. And more muscle. And for the legs, we kind of alternate between left and right. So we don't need as much rest between because we're only working one muscle and one side at a time. For that one, we're doing a whole bunch of muscles at the same time. Okay, so probably need a little bit more rest for these things. Okay, so but while we're resting, let's explain the balance type stuff. Okay, so today is more of a single leg balance. Okay, so let's test our balance first. As usual, we want to see how we're feeling that day. So have 1 chair or 2 chairs around for support, maybe a wall behind. Okay, but let's try to just kind of stand on one foot first. You can kind of tap the floor, you can tap the hands. Okay, but see, you can use less of both. Okay, but use as much as you need. Okay, so see if you can hold for at least 10 seconds. 9, 8, and if you can't, use a little more support. So we want to find a support that you can still do it for 10 seconds. Okay, but adjust. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's check on the other side. Okay, just to see if there's any difference. Okay, so once again, use as much support as you need so that you can kind of balance with a little bit of challenge for about 10 seconds. So 9, 8. So for me, I'm feeling a little more steady on my right foot today, actually. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so what are we doing today? So we are going to be kind of doing a bit of a reaching movement. So we're still going to stand once again. Find your stance so that you can stand roughly for 10 seconds. So once again, you can be lightly touching or lightly touching the chair. But what I'm going to do is that you're going to reach forward while maintaining the balance and then coming back. So my foot, I'm just using just enough to stay balanced. Okay, so I'm not stepping down. I'm lightly dragging it. I'm lightly touching the chair, and I'm just kind of trying to see if I can still maintain the balance. Reach forward, okay, and come back. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling worse on my left side today. So I'm going to maybe use a little bit more of my hands. Okay, so let's try about 5 times. So 5, 4. If you're feeling good, you can just have your hands and legs off the floor, of course. 3, 2, and 1. So definitely challenging a single leg balance. You probably feel the muscle here also getting a little sore as well. And shake things up, and let's try the same thing on the other side. So I know I'm feeling better on this leg, so I'm going to use less of my hands, less of my legs. You can reach with other hand, okay, but I'm going to try to reach forward. 1, it's just from a different angle. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason why we're kicking our leg back is that if you're just going to reach forward, you're going to fall forward. So as we reach the weight of our hands in front, we want to kind of balance it by having a weight of our legs behind. So if you don't have that, you're going to fall or more easily fall forward and vice versa if you're kicking the leg back. Okay, and shake everything out. And let's repeat these, I guess, these 4 exercises one more time. Okay, try to see if you can remember what they are so that you can kind of do them at your own time during the week. So I'm going to try to not demonstrate it first, let everyone see if they can remember. Okay, so the first one is back of the shoulders. Okay, remember the gold nugget. So elbows in, starting with hands armpit width apart, and keeping elbows in as you pull apart. So for me, my elbows really don't go too far in, so just think of squeezing your armpits together. So for you, your elbows might come a little closer to your ribs. Okay, so 2. Okay, we're gonna breathe. Okay, so hard during the hard part of the movement, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Easier part, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Okay, let's call this 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, my shoulders are definitely a little tired. 9, 10. So I might be doing less reps than when I was doing before. So 11, 12. Yeah, I can at most do maybe 3 more. So I'm going to stop here. Second one, front atop the 5, the one where we're kicking like this. Okay, so let's see if we can remember the setup. So tying our legs together, and of course the tighter you tie it together at the beginning, the harder it is. So usually I like maybe 2 kind of fist width apart. If it was easy for you before, make it a little bit tighter or use it heavier. And for this one, bring the front of the band forward, twist it, and then hook it towards the toes. Okay, so and sit as far back as you can, just so there's a little bit more support for your legs. Okay, so one leg a little back, and then other leg just kicking kind of up, straightening the leg up, holding at the top for a little longer, and control on the way back then. 2. Maybe have to bend over your clothes so that it doesn't dig into the skin too much. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So once again, you don't have to reach a particular number. Just go till you can at most do 3 to 5 more times. It's actually also a good idea to use different weights as well. So you can use a heavier weight one day where you do less repetitions. Some days use a lighter band and do more repetitions. That way you can train your muscles in different ways and your body would kind of respond to that as well. Because if we get used to something, our body doesn't change as much. So whenever you're ready, let's switch to the other side. So we don't need as much rest because the working leg is now resting and we're working on the other side. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm probably getting a little tired because I'm kind of cheating by going faster. So once again, the idea is not to just lift a heavy number of weight, but put our muscles through more work pretty much. So then there's a little bit of acid buildup. So we want to have a control kicking out and then control coming back. So I think that's roughly 50. Okay. Shaking it out for a second. And then we go on to the full body one, where we do something in the legs and then something with the arms together. So for this time, I'm going to do the version that doesn't have something tied onto it. Feel free to continue doing the one where you just pull backwards. But I'm just going to demonstrate a version where if you don't have something to hold on to, you can still do something similar. Okay, so remind about a squat. Remember to push the butt out so that you're not just using the knees. And then you have your knees roughly over your foot. So this is too far in. You don't have to do the complete opposite too much. Okay, just roughly, if you look down, your knees should be roughly over the center of your feet. Okay, so when you're squatting down, as you come up, you're just going to either roll the band or pull the band apart. So let me do a front angle this time since I did the other angle the other time. Okay, so some usually easier to balance by pushing her hands out because the weight of her butt is backwards, so we have to counterbalance it by having the arms forward. Okay, and I'm just going to pull the band apart slightly. 2 and 2, 3. Okay, so straight arm a little harder. If you bend your arms and elbows, that's a little easier. Let's go this 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, from this angle. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So for this one, my shoulders are actually getting more tired than my legs. So I can either make my arms a little bit easier or go a little bit low with my legs. Okay, but this version, you can probably feel also a little bit off the top of the shoulders. And check it out. Once again, your breathing might be a little bit faster than when we're just using one muscle with the kicking of the legs. Almost there. We're just going to do one more set of the balance exercise. So this is the reaching one. This is the one where you find enough support so that you can kind of balance with a little bit of a challenge without falling over. Okay, and in the meantime, you can reach. So you can, instead of reaching forward, you can also think of reaching downwards. So once again, my back leg is just lightly touching the floor. My hands is also lightly touching the floor. So I'm using mostly my legs to balance. Okay, and then come back. Okay, so you can continue reaching forward if you want. If you want to have a little bit of a change, you can reach downwards instead. Okay, but remember to still push the butt back. And let's do about kind of 5 times on each leg. Okay, so let's call this number 3. And you can change it up by reaching different directions. Oh, definitely bad on this leg today. 4. And 5. So reaching downwards can be harder for people just because when you look down, your body wants to go in that direction. But of course, when we do reach down, we don't want to do that. We want to be able to separate kind of where we're looking and where our body is going as well sometimes. And whenever you're ready, let's switch to our leg. Once again, find enough support. And then 1. You can reach downwards if you want to. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And good job, everyone. So I think today probably is a little bit harder than before. But it's good to sometimes change it up a little bit as well. You can always give me feedback on whether you want more like this or maybe something closer to before. Okay, so let's do a little bit of stretching for the last part. Let me sit a little bit closer. Okay, so shoulders first, reach across, reach underneath, pull your arm close to your body. Deep breath in and out. And try to almost relax as much as you can as you breathe out. So flexibility, sometimes we probably don't do enough of. So for this one, we spend maybe kind of at most 10 minutes here, but we did like 15 minutes of the other stuff. So, and as we get older, our joints probably do get a little stiffer, a little bit less flexible, because everything else in the body, we're less elastic as we get older. And it's important to at least maintain it, because once again, if you're really, really tight and you try to get it back, it takes a while. So maintaining something is easier than getting something back. Okay, top of the shoulders. So either grab the bottom of the chair. If you want the really more challenging version, you can have the palm facing down and your fingers pointing in, and you can just sit on your palm. So my fingers are pointing inwards. If your wrist can tolerate that, you can give it a try. Okay, but you're going to lean the other way using your heads, and then just lightly pull. Probably feel a little bit of it becomes like a wrist stretch at the same time as well. And for some people, it might be more of a wrist stretch. So if you feel like everything is just in the wrist and you don't feel catch you anything like the shoulders, you can just release it and just grab a chair and do this instead. Completely up to you. Okay, similar, but tucking the, looking downwards, tucking the chin close to the armpit. And coming back and switching over to the other side. So once again, either grab the chair, have it hanging. You can have your fingers pointing in, whatever is comfortable for you or tolerated by you, and get the shoulders down and head pointing down, leaning the other way. You can use your free hand to help a little bit. And look towards the armpit. And coming back out. Okay, so shake the wrist out a little bit. Let's just do one for the wrist anyway. So palms together, bring them further down. Keep the elbows not very high, but just maybe a little bit higher than on the wrist. Okay, and just trying to keep your fingers together. And use our breath. As you breathe out, try to relax. If your fingers are kind of like bending like this, see if you can, as much as you can, try to see if you straighten them out a little bit more. Okay, shake it out, and we'll do the opposite. So palm on your knuckles, pretty much. Okay, and you're just going to maybe this angle is a little better. So straight, you're just going to pull your fingers towards yourself until you feel a stretch in the back of the hand. maybe towards the back of the forearm as well. So you can either keep your palms open, or if you're a little more flexible, you can also try to curl your fingers in a little bit. Just try to keep what I don't need to be tense, more relaxed. And just switch to the other side whenever you are ready. Okay, for the legs, oops. One leg out, sit a little closer to the edge of the chair, just so your legs are not hanging, and then lean forward. Usually like to have one hand on my chair and the other hand I like to kind of rest on my elbow, resting on my thighs. Deep breath in and out. Okay, we have 3 minutes left. And repeat on the other leg whenever you're ready. Okay, same, not the same, but still seated. One leg kind of up. Okay, this angle might be a little better. Pulling your knee towards the opposite shoulder, feeling the stretch on around the buttocks. Switch whenever you're ready. Feel free to spend more time in one stretch if that's an area where you are tighter in. Okay, last minute, last stretch. Let's come back up first. Let's head to the back of the chair. Pause as long as you need to for your blood pressure to stabilize. Maybe march your legs a little bit. But when you're ready, one leg forward, one leg back. You can choose to have your heel closer to the ground or further up, depending on how tight you are at the back. But try to have a kind of wide stance, front to back. Try to straighten out the back leg. Push the hips forward until you feel a stretch in the front of the hips. Maybe a little bit in the thighs. If your heel is there, probably a little behind your calves as well. Last 30 seconds. Same thing on the other leg. And we out of time. So good job, everyone. Today was a harder class. So maybe feel a little more tired, maybe tonight or tomorrow. But good job and see everyone next week. Bye-bye. Today was good? Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I think last class was a little bit shorter, so I added one more full body thing. And make it a little bit harder because I think everyone can do it. Bye.